And so, our story continues. Darkness fell over Avernus. The 9 suns descended beyond the mountainous horizon. Gentle flames licked up around a crumbled war machine. The sojourners' bodies were strewn about the wreckage, each of them lying unconscious from the collision into the scaffolding of unforgiving rock and stone. For just a few moments ago, Felthran Grovelore finally succumbed to the influence of Yinnigu. The beast of butchery finally found a foothold in the mind of this dwarf. Whether it was the forceful pride that insisted he drive, or the stale air all around, possibly just the wearing down of the Knoll Demon Lord's persistent knocking. Felthran began to uncontrollably feast until bloated. Gluttony took over his will, and this was a fearsome force indeed, for now the carnage of flesh and metal wrangled into a mess upon the desert floor. Zarion was the first to awake from the wreck, and he stirred Bramble, and together they found Hay and Garandan, thrown far from the mangled vehicle. A busted wagon indeed. Felthran was thrown high into the air, and his body pierced upon a spine growing out of the cliffside, and like a trophy, he hung there. Garandan wasted no time and spent all of his magical effort to land his friend unconscious. Bramble noticed that, by chance, they had actually arrived at their destination of the Bleeding Citadel, almost as if Felthran maybe knew what he was doing the whole time. Zarion recalled his old stomping grounds. The hamlet of Red Ruth lay only a quick march away. Perhaps before entering into the Bleeding Citadel, they could scour around the hamlet for a cure. To their surprise, Red Ruth was out and about. "Seems like this hamlet's just right," said Garandan, and he winked at Hay, and together they safely cast Felthran, their friend and their sojourner, into the ethereal plane. And so, our story continues. The sojourners safely inside the hamlet of Red Ruth, bubbling cauldrons and hanging bodies of shriveled beasts and fey creatures stretched out and dried over centuries. Bottles and potions and maps and scrolls stuffed hastily into the sides of the wall. And Bramble, you see a cracked door to the side. While everyone is busy talking, this cracked door seems to beckon to you, and it leads into another study. And as you look into the light of this cracked door, to what do you pay attention to?
Bramble mutters something about the first step to solving a problem is to know everything about it. So he's hoping he's going to find some books on the other side of this door.
Indeed, you find a study. Red Ruth seems to be fancying a library of sorts. All kinds of languages, celestial, draconic, deep speech tomes from the far realms guaranteed to drive even the most stalwart of wizards mad. Bramble's curiosity has been piqued and rewarded. And as you amble about this room, how do you proceed?
He's gonna look for tomes that seem to be marked written in either abyssal or infernal, and seem to have like local history or something about. He's seeing what he can learn about the Bleeding Citadel.
Make an investigation check.
Uh, 24.
Seems as if it calls out to you in bold golden letters, the Bleeding Citadel. You begin to move through this tome, and the pages are wholly glittering with light. The language is celestial, Yet there is a translation in common written in the margins, hastily scribbled on, presumably by the author. Something you notice in here, the bleeding citadel was a mound of scab and swamps of blood designed to cover and conceal the alabaster temple, the holy temple of light, in which, yes, the sword angel strike, formerly governed by Zariel, the Seraph, the guardian of Lathander, and the Dawn. This is where the sword angel strike has been hidden, in the alabaster temple. The bleeding citadel has been covering this alabaster temple for years and years by demons and gnolls and fiends, and has designed to hopefully one day completely wipe out this holy sword. With a 24, you also notice that there were some sort of time limit, a prophecy that was yet to be revealed, and your mind is drawn back to Smiler, the Defiler. His last words before he left the temple, he winked and said, "Well, the prophecy's about to be fulfilled anyway. It's almost the new moon." Now that you think about it, you don't know how long you've been here in Avernus. Has it been days, weeks, years? Bramble, you're going through this page and you have a moment to comment at your findings.
Back to the guys, you mean?
You're still in the room.
What did the moon look like last night? Is that how we enter? I don't. Let's see. I think if we put all these pieces together. Just kind of thinking out loud.
You're on the right track, Bramble.
Hedge?
You turn around and you see an ethereal form, a ghost, with his misty legs nearly disincorporated, and the clear, translucent face of your brother Hedge. He's smiling.
Hedge, what are you doing here?
What? Back up. Don't touch me. He looks at his hands. I can take your life. Just stay away. I made it through. You can see me, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, I have been seeing you this whole time. I think your eyes are cutting through the plains now.
Whoa.
Oh gosh, I can see myself in your eyes. Is that what I look like now?
I'm just happy to see. I mean, the last time I saw you, the image of your face haunts my nightmares. I hope that doesn't come across too bad.
Please. There's a reason for that. That's really what you remember?
It looked pretty gruesome.
Well, I was hoping you had a better memory of that. I didn't expect to lead with this, but I have work to do. And there's a reason I've been haunting you. Granny Nightshade, Mad Maggie, she knows. She knows I'm supposed to help you. Did you see her trap?
Her trap?
She tried to convince you of something.
I know what you mean.
I didn't do it. I didn't. I did not sell our estate to Granny Nightshade. And I need you to believe me.
I think I do. I know things were difficult, and I know you'd have done anything for the people of Fartwood Estate. I know that. But I really didn't want to believe it. You didn't do it. I know that.
Of course I didn't. And it's vitally important. No time for pleasantries. Bramble, listen. Mad Maggie, Granny Nightshade, she's behind all of this. This whole thing that you landed in her lap, that you allied with her, she is hunting you now. Even the fact that that tiefling is with you, it's not good. She's got a read on him. In fact, she's got a read on all of you. She knows every single step you take in this place, and she is hunting you down. You have to kill her. If you want the blood war balanced, you have to kill her.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
Zerion, the tiefling that's with you,
Mm-hmm.
what do you know of him?
He worked for her for a long time. He says he's from Greyhawk, I think. I don't know.
He's not from Greyhawk. This is where he lived with Red Ruth. If you want my opinion, I think from what I can see, you most likely should kill Red Ruth too. This coven of sisters, they've instigated this whole thing. They're masterminds.
Yikes. All right.
I don't know how you can kill Mad Maggie. I know that your friends tried to kill Granny Nightshade once. They took off her head. They took away her heartstone, and yet she lived. You've got to come up with some way to kill her and end her very existence. Total annihilation. If you can kill Red Ruth too, I'm sure that would help. She's not as powerful, not as wily.
Do you know anything about Angel Strike?
I don't, other than that it was, Zerion's mother probably, I think she owned it once.
Zerion? Is Zeriel's son?
That's why he's the leverage point.
Wow.
First of all, who sent you here?
Talus was his name?
Oh, no. Who sent you to the bleeding to get the sword?
We talked to...
Was it Belle?
Yeah, Belle. We talked to Belle in some kind of like weird time freeze thing. Right under Zeriel's nose.
What do you think of him?
I think we might be able to make an ally of him. If we give him an opportunity to jump against Zeriel or restore her, I think he'll take it.
I couldn't agree more. I hate to say it, but in this place, you've got to choose your battles. And sometimes picking the weaker evil is the best thing to do. I was offered to save Heartwood through Granny Nightshade. I went to her hut. I saw her. I didn't take the deal. She didn't like that too much. She threatened our family. She threatened the estate. She threatened everything. And that's when the cult came. That's how Tiamat knew about us. I feel like it's my fault, so I went to finish the job. I went to kill her. I swore an oath, Bramble, to kill Granny Nightshade. And I failed. That is my unfinished business. Brother, this is not where I want to spend eternity. This is not where I want to stay. No food, no drink, no hunger, no thirst, no touch, no smell. Everything I touch, every mortal, every being, you know how many people I've frightened? Is everything within me to keep from terrifying you right now.
Oh, Hedge, I'm so sorry. You made the right choice. We'll do everything we can to help you. But know that you made the right choice. You stood up for our people. You protected us all. And we didn't even know to thank you.
Well, now you know. And you don't have to thank me. I know you would have done the same, but I know you would have used different tactics. I tend to run the things headlong. You tend to flank the side and wait for the opportunity.
True enough.
This is your opportunity, Bramble.
I'll do what I can to avenge you, brother.
You should go back to your friends. I don't want them seeing me. The mist begins to fade into the room, and you see the visage of your brother Hedge fade from his legs, his torso, his hands disappear. Finally, only a silhouette of his face exists as it pulls back, bleeding through an invisible glass, the ethereal plane.
Goodbye, Hedge. Bramble takes out Hedge's signet ring, which he hasn't been wearing on his hand for a little while, and he puts the ring on and then heads back into the room.